10 surprising facts about Ethiopia. Archaeological, cultural, and natural wonders await for travelers keen to delve into the ancient yet often overlooked Ethiopia. Add to this a staggering diversity of landscapes, a kaleidoscope of cultures and history that tracks back to when our species first raised itself up onto two legs. And suddenly, you've got one very surprising travel destination. From the birthplace of the Rastafarian movement to the discovery of coffee, here are 10 cool facts you might not know about Ethiopia. There are 13 months on the calendar in Ethiopia. Sure, plenty of cultures have their own calendars that they prefer to follow over the Western Gregorian one, but most still abide by the unspoken 12 months to a year's rule. Not Ethiopia. Ever looking to buck a trend, several thousand years ago, the Ethiopians cottoned on to Spinal Tap's belief that one more is always better, and have been counting 13 months to their year ever since. What does this mean? Well, Ethiopia is essentially a few years behind the rest of the world. Canny tourism boards can also legitimately claim that the country really does boast 13 months of sunshine. 2. Ethiopia runs on its own time. Ethiopians also measure the hours of a day to a different schedule. In a piece of logic that's kind of hard to argue against, they believe it's less confusing if the clock starts when the day does. Thus, sunrise is 1 o'clock and sunset 12. Then the 12-hour night clock sets in. 3. Ethiopia was never colonized by Europeans. Ethiopia is the only African country never to have been brought under colonial control, a fact that locals will never tire of informing you. And fair enough, too. The Italians did give colonization a crack in 1935 and succeeded in militarily occupying the country for 6 years. But Ethiopian forces were waging military opposition the entire time, and the whole country was never brought under control. As some of the locals put it, we waited until they had built us railways and nice buildings, and then kicked them out. 4. Ethiopia is a nation of festivals. Ethiopia is a country full of vibrant festivals. The biggest, Timket, is a 3-day annual festival that honors the baptism of Jesus Christ in the River Jordan. Priests remove the tablets, replicas of the Ark of Covenant, from each church and march to the nearest water source where the communal baptism takes place. 5. Ethiopia is the birthplace of the Rastafarian movement. Thought it was Jamaica? Nope. While much of the Rastafarian movement did evolve in Jamaica, the spiritual homeland of it is in actual fact Ethiopia. In Amharic, Rasas is a title similar to chief, and Tafari, the first name of Emperor Haile Selassie Ramund. The movement essentially posits Selassie as an incarnation of God. Need further evidence? Check out the colors on the Ethiopian flag. Familiar, no? 6. Coffee was discovered in Ethiopia. You know your morning caffeine shot? You've got some Ethiopian goats to thank for that. As the story goes, a goat herder way back when noticed his flock's fondness for a certain bush and decided to give one of the fruits a nibble himself. His day's herding was notably more efficient for it, and the coffee industry took off from there. 7. Ethiopia is one of the world's oldest countries. Several archaeological findings in Ethiopia's Afar region go quite some way in suggesting that the country may be where the human species came from. In 1972, Donald Johanson and Tim D. White discovered Lucy, a 3.2 million-year-old hominid skeleton. Then Ardi, also from the Afar region, but 1 million years her senior, rocked up and blew her out of the water. 8. Abebe Bikila was the first athlete to win 2 Olympic marathons. In 1960, an Ethiopian by the name of Abebe Bikila became the first Black African to win gold in the Olympics. Only making the team selection at the last minute due to another athlete's broken foot, Bikila opted to run the marathon barefoot, pipping hot favorite Moroccan Radi Ben Abdesalam by a full 25 seconds. 4 years later, Bikila won the Tokyo Olympics, setting a world record and becoming the first ever person to win the Olympic marathon twice. When asked if he wasn't tired, he didn't look it. He answered that he could have done with another 10 kilometers. 9. Addis Ababa is the 5th highest capital city in the world. Okay, there's no getting away from the fact that Addis fits the bill of being a big, dusty, overcrowded city. But it's also home of the African Union and the headquarters of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. It's also the world's 5th highest capital city, with an altitude of 2355 meters. The name of the city translates to new flower in Amharic. 10. Ethiopian cuisine is great for vegetarians. Ethiopian cooking is some of the tastiest, healthiest, and most diverse cuisine on the continent. And, unlike many African countries, it's a haven for vegetarians. The simple reason for this is that most Ethiopians follow a particular strand of Orthodox Christianity that prohibits the eating of any animal products on Wednesdays and Fridays. The happy byproduct of this for herbivores is that restaurants tend to always have a few deliciously spicy vegan stews on the menu. It also means that when you say that you don't eat meat, they'll actually understand the idea, instead of replacing the beef you requested be left off your pizza with, say, chicken.